There you go.
What time is this 2 o'clock meeting starting?
2 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the Sparks City Council meeting of Monday, November 28, 2016, together with a roll call, please.
Mayor Martini,
Here.
Council members Abbott,
Here.
Lawson,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Bybee,
Here?
Deere,
Here.
Assistant City Attorney Eiding,
Here.
and City Manager Driscoll.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, if you'd all stand for the invocation speaker, we have with us Pastor Barbara West from the Sparks Nazarene Church. Welcome, Pastor West.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to read this prayer.
if you'll bow your heads with me, please. While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us pledge allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam, God bless America, our home, sweet home. God bless America, our home, sweet home. And God, would you please bless these leaders that we've put in place for our city of Sparks and guide them in their directions and decisions for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. As usual, very, very good, and you always lead us very well into the session, so we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Mr. Dare, would you lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Be honored. Would you please join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, public comment. Anyone want to speak under public comment? I have no cards to speak. Seeing no one, we'll move on. Agenda, anybody want to take anything out of order or looking for a motion? Ms. Bybee.
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Mr. Smith.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Bybee, seconded by Mr. Smith to approve the agenda as outlined by staff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passed unanimously. 6.1, consideration and possible approval of the minutes of the special and regular Sparks City Council meeting of November 14, 2016. Any omissions, deletions, corrections? If not, looking for a motion. Mr. Lawson?
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second, Mr. Smith.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Lawson, seconded by Mr. Smith to approve the minutes of special meeting of regular city council meeting November 14th, regular meeting. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, let's move on to number 7, presentation by Grifols Biomat USA. Grifols, is that pronounced right? Who's doing this? Come on up. Just give us your name for the record. And could you pronounce that? Is it right or not?
Grifols. Yes, sir. So my name is Jerry Halverson. On behalf of Grifols and their child company Biomat USA.
Hi, my name is Marisa Bucco, and I'm the Center Quality Manager for Biomet here in Reno.
So we actually wanted to put together a little presentation for the community because this is the first time we'll have a center in Sparks. So we have a little presentation for the screen, if you want to set that up, Mark. So for people that don't know what plasma is, it's basically a component of the blood. The long and short of it, it's the liquid portion, water and protein. It's a very simple substance, but a lot of people need it to have a quality way of life. I know if anybody's been affected by anybody with hemophilia or any sort of genetic inherited diseases or autoimmune diseases, but we treat those type of people, and it's all an in-house thing with full traceability. Because we're fortunate enough to go ahead and collect the product from our value donors. We compensate them for their time, and then we actually produce the pharmaceuticals in one of our plants in North Carolina or in LA. But as the slide says, we started out in 1940 out of Barcelona. It's been a family company. It's been in the Grifols name ever since. And we're committed to helping patients through providing them with the pharmaceuticals that they need to live an everyday life that we kind of take advantage of as far as bleeding disorders or things like genetic emphysema, that type of thing. So we always keep the patients in mind. We're one of the leaders. I know the slide says we are the world leader, but it's always a competition between the top 3 as far as production-wise and how many medications that we can provide. But the 160 donor centers that are in the United States right now, that's again off because, as you know, we're opening the center December 20th in Sparks. So we're constantly growing, and there's a huge push for this growth, and why we have this audience with you today that we thank you for. So across the fleet, we average 26,000 donations per day. We have testing laboratories in Austin, Texas, like I say, in Los Angeles. We have another corporate facility, and in North Carolina. And one of the big things on this slide is the traceability that we provide. Every donation is tracked with a specific donor number, and that is traced to the whole process. So let's say that there is some sort of accountability issue, or there is a product quality issue at the end of the process when it's getting boxed 9 months later, 12 months later from the actual donation. We can actually trace that back to where it came from, what center it came from, the actual donor that provided it. So just to touch on some of the actual medications that we do make, which is why we're all here right now. So primary immunodeficiency diseases, there's a myriad of them. There's like 100+ diseases that are treated, from genetic emphysema, there's pneumonia, and just in general immune suppressing infections. And we have products like our intravenous immunoglobulin that are given from everyday donors from this very simple substance of water and protein that we actually manufacture into these immunotherapies to help people with these life-threatening diseases. The more common one under hematology would be like hemophilia A and B. Now BloodWorks, it's a clotting cascade. So if you're missing one of these proteins, again, you don't get to live that everyday life. You may have a joint bleed, or maybe if you have an actual accident or you have to go under surgery, you may need more of these proteins. And again, we elicit these proteins and fractionate it in our facility and provide those for those patients. And then other genetic disorders, as far as, again, genetic emphysema, our pulmonology, to help people breathe. So, and this can be obviously, the biggest relation for this would be like emphysema, and a lot of people get that with like smoking, etc., but some of this can be genetically inherited. So we actually help these individuals with these lung disorders because they have those damaged pathways in their lungs. And again, we use some of these therapies to provide them with the medications that they need. And then last, shock victims, as far as treating inflammation and from shock and severe burns. So there is a use we've tried to get in the community as far as tying with the VA and trying to get support from them as well. Our center medical physician also works at the VA, so we're trying to partner with them heavily. But that decreases the permeability in your vasculature system, again, treating burns, and again, helping people that aren't on the genetic side of needing the medications. More of an emergency situation. And here's some of the numbers. Again, why we're here today. So, and this isn't a blanket statement. So the 1,300 donations, that's for somebody that has some form of hemophilia. Now it's not all that drastic. We're not saying that every patient needs 1,300. But we fractionate it, and it takes a lot of donations to help one person. And that just kind of puts numbers in perspective. So one patient, 1,300 donations. And it goes down from there, from 900 to 130 for whatever immune deficiency it is. If we're using IVIG, the funny thing about it is some of the stuff we use as far as our intravenous immunoglobulin, it's not a diagnosis. We've just gotten a very good response. So it leaves the window open as far as some of the opportunities that plasma has to offer, especially with immune deficiencies. We just know that we've treated people with it, and they've had a very good response with it, and it's improved their quality of life or their outlook. It doesn't cure anything, but it just goes to show you that the window is open with some of the technologies, some of the research that we do, and the medications we provide for our patients. So this talks about the actual community. So plasma donors are right here in the community, and they're everywhere. We've tried, like I say, we go to the VA. We've gone to the schools to try to recruit people. The biggest thing is we're trying to fight. It seems like there's a negative connotation on plasma donation because we compensate people with money. And we've tried to combat that, and that's one of the things we've tried to do for a few years now. That you're not just coming there to just sell your money for $25. That's totally not what it's about. People donate for whatever their reason is, but the funny thing is actually working at the center and seeing somebody donate because their son's over in Iraq versus the person that needs to provide diapers for their child. not my question to ask. The biggest thing that we can provide is a safe screening. So that's why your first visit takes a while. Your first time, you're going through a health history questionnaire with trained medical professionals, nurses, paramedics, EMTs. And we make sure that every person that comes through that door is suitable to be able to donate, because the people that we're giving the medications to anyway are obviously, they're sick. They're not getting it for a good reason. God forbid we need to give them something else. So that's why a thorough screening is done. And to add on to that, it mentions we need 2 donations because, again, our regulations dictate that we cannot release that first one until we've gotten our viral marker testing back, and then we can release into the general pool. How it works, the best picture is how to paint it's like a brewery. In LA, we send all of our plasma there. It all gets mixed together, and it's tested at each fraction. We've only had to ever throw away in the history of our company 1 large batch because one of the testings popped as far as positive for an antibody. So it kind of speaks to the company, and that was about 2 months into the fractionation process when it had another 9 months to go. 9 to 12 months total from the actual donation to when it gets turned into a medication. And this goes over the steps, because the biggest thing we try to combat too is it's a long time your first time, but I cannot stress the fact that, you know, we are trying to get that image up. I don't know if you guys had a predisposed image as to what the plasma industry was all about, but we want quality, you know, healthy donors, and they go through that screening to make sure they are healthy. And that's why the visit takes a little longer first time. You need to provide a certain amount of ID, and we check all this information against the national database, because there's national databases that I'm sure you guys know about that keep track of HCV reactive donors, HIV reactive donors, and that's reported to the health department accordingly. So we do all this at the first visit to make sure that we are getting a pure and quality product. So that's why when we tell people that it takes a little long their first visit, you know, there's some gripes and whatnot, understandably so, but ultimately it's for the safety of our patients, because that's our #1 priority. And people can do it twice a week. It's a fantastic thing. You know, I'd love to say that everybody comes out there and they do it for the good of the patients because they want to help somebody. That's not how it goes. Some people have other means to do it, but it doesn't matter. They're in the facility anyway, and they're helping somebody. And then on top of that, it's more than just the donors and the patients. Depending on the size of the facility, you're employing anywhere from 40 to 70 individuals, depending on how big it is. So it's a really great opportunity that we have coming into Sparks, because we can actually help those families. We're not only helping the donors and the patients, we're also providing full-time work for those individuals as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Our company is very progressive. We actually have our own Academy of Plasmapheresis, which is a college-accredited, we got that too. And we put it on ourselves, and we fly our employees down to Arizona, North Carolina, all on the company's dime. We provide them with accredited courses. We send our nurses down there, our management staff. We have our quality staff go down there. And we fly in our physicians from actually all over the country, and some of them from Spain, to come in and talk on these seminars. So that's one opportunity. We've also teamed up with College for America, and it's 100% paid for upfront accredited degree for any employee that wants it. All you have to do is obviously you have to sign that you want to stay with the company for a certain amount of time, which is fair. But no questions asked. You write an entrance letter, and you can actually get I'm currently getting my bachelor's in healthcare management, all paid for by the company, online, and they really support you, and that's a huge thing. So like I said, the 160 plus centers across the United States, all employing around 40 to 50 people. So it's not just the people that all people think about are the patients or the donors that may be receiving compensation or getting gratitude from helping somebody, but it's also the employees at the center. With that being said, besides the career opportunities that we do provide, we're infusing money into the community. So this is money that donors are getting they're providing goods for themselves, they're shopping. We also do a lot of community awareness. We're actually tying in with the Washoe County School District because we saw that they're having some budgetary crisis. So we tried to reach out to them and say, hey, here's a way that maybe we could set up a fund for you if you really want to volunteer. Take you get paid after every donation, take that to a special fund, you guys can put it towards whatever you need to. So we've reached out to the community, Washoe County School District. We're working with the VA right now, like I said, through our physician. And we go to a lot of the schools, and we try to tie in with like the fire academy and whatnot, because I know they have to do a lot of volunteer work. We've had a good reception from them. Also with employing some of their EMTs. We have a great opportunity. You can be an EMT advanced and get in here, and it's a pretty competitive wage rate, for those guys as well. So we've really tried to intertwine with the community. We didn't really get to do that with the starting of the Reno Center, so we're trying to do it right this time, and talk with you guys and just get the message out there that a lot of this money does come back to the actual community and the city in which you're in. But that's about it.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Because I don't know, I know when somebody gives a pint of blood, that's about all they can give at one time. Do you take it out of, do you draw the blood and then take the plasma out of it, or can you take the plasma right out of the patient?
Because we centrifuge it right there while they're hooked up to the machine. The donation takes about an hour, so we spin it, and naturally the solids and the liquids separate, and you can do it twice in a 7-day period.
Okay, but you do take the blood out, right? You take
Yeah,
it out
but
of
we
the
give
pint
it
of
back.
blood.
We give it back.
You give it back to them
Yes, sir.
after you spin it out. Okay,
That's why you can basically do it twice
Sure,
a week
okay,
versus
makes
once
sense.
every 8 weeks.
okay, okay.
So that's kind of our pitch as well. We tell people, hey, and it makes them feel good too, because they're not donating blood once every 8 weeks.
Uh-huh.
You get to come in twice a week, and it doesn't hurt to make a little extra money.
Okay, no, good deal. Thank you.
Anybody else, questions? Go ahead, Donald.
So if I was thinking about donating actually. So if I went in my first day, am I like 3 hours waiting, or what's the time period?
Well, that's the thing, because we're at, we quote 2.5 to 3 hours, preferably 2.5. Now, if it's toward the end of the day, I'm not a big fan of giving people false numbers, what corporate wants
Yeah.
you to say. I'm going to shoot you straight and say, because we take walk-ins, first come, first serve, and we don't deny anybody. We'll usually leave the facility at 9 o'clock when we close at 6 o'clock on the weekdays. So we're going to stay there if you guys come in, but it's usually about a 2.5 hour wait, just because you go through that thorough screening. After that, 90 minutes.
And then how about after that? After your first screening, it's like an hour, right? You said?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah, hour to 90 minutes. And we, there's obviously corporate standards, so we try to hold true to that, because if we take too long, people aren't going to come back.
Mr. Dare?
You mentioned that there's 55 jobs. Have you already started hiring for them? Are they open now? You said, when is it
December
open?
20th.
December 20th? So are you hiring right now? And how would somebody be a part of that? Not that I'm looking for a job, but
You haven't got time. huh?
We could use it. No, yeah, it's online at Grifols Plasma, but yes, we're still recruiting. And unfortunately, there's turnaround everywhere you go. So we've already staffed and trained for that center. So basically, we're working with double the amount of staff out of our Reno Center, because we obviously had to get all of our licenses underway and have experienced people move over to the Spark Center, because we're going to be going 100% as of the 20th.
so is there any room if any Spark citizen now we're looking for work,
Yes, sir.
they should go on and check that out?
Yes,
Is
sir.
there certain requirements they have to have?
No, and it goes up from there. Like if you'd like to be park management, obviously a degree doesn't hurt. The medical staff, you have to have your state of Nevada licensure. But we do have base openings as far as our donor center technicians, and even our phlebotomists will train in-house. So a lot of people are surprised to hear that you don't need any training to become a phlebotomist.
Fantastic.
A lot of entry-level
Yeah,
positions,
we have
actually.
great training programs. Yeah, I'm coming into with the company and not knowing anything about plasma, so I had to go through a 6 months training. So that's actually out in North Carolina as well.
We're glad you saw the light and came over to Sparks. That's
Right?
fantastic.
Yeah.
I have one more.
Go ahead, Ron.
One more question. I know that they have blood type O, A positive. Is it the plasma designated the same way, or everybody's plasma is the same?
Universal, that's the
Okay.
beauty of it.
Universal
That's the
Plasma.
beauty of it.
Great. Thanks, folks, appreciate it. Saw the big sign down there on the front
Yep,
of
I
the
see that.
building, and I was wondering what it was, so I'm very pleased that you came on down and explained your business to us. I hope you're very successful.
We're
Thank you.
excited. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Oh, One
Thank
more
you.
question, one more.
So are you having like a grand opening on December 20th?
We're going to be open for business. They have a scheduled, actual grand opening with events and whatnot. We might have a DJ come out. That should be the following month. But that's when we're open for business and whatnot, kind of like a soft opening, I guess you could say.
Right.
Okay, so are you going to let us know if you have an opening that you would like any of us to be there?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I
Ribbon
think we
cutting?
have
Ribbon
a-
cutting?
Yeah, no, we have that
festivities?
scheduled
Okay.
for next year,
Okay.
during spring, I believe, but, I'm not 100% sure with that, but definitely we'll let you guys know.
Okay, that'd be great, thank you.
They picked a heck of a date the week before Christmas week.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Welcome to Sparks.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to consent items, 8.1 through 8.3. Everyone want to pull a consent item? Seeing none, we're looking for a motion then. Mr. Smith?
Move to approve consent items 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3.
Mr. Dare?
I second.
Moved by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. Dare to approve consent items 8.1 through 8.3. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, moving on. General Business 9.1, consideration and possible approval of amendment number 1 to the Disposition and Development Agreement AC 5172 between the Redevelopment Agency, the City of Sparks, and the SW-Quarry FVS LLC to extend the deadlines for closing escrow and the commencing construction on the agency mixed-use parcels APN 03231422 and APN 03234123. Mr. Ornelas.
Thank you, Mayor Martini, members of the City Council. I am Armando Ornelas, your Assistant Community Services Director. So this agenda item is proposed amendment number 1 to the DDA between the Redevelopment Agency, the City of Sparks, and SWD Quarry FDS LLC, which is essentially an entity created by Silverwing Development and Jay Witt. The original development agreement was approved in July of 2015. It granted the developer the ability to acquire and develop 8 parcels from the agency, 6 of which are referred to as the agency residential parcels. So those are the ones outlined in red here on the exhibit 1 here. So it's these 2 plus these 4. And then there were the agency mixed-use parcels, which are little, don't pop quite as much, but it's these 2 parcels in front of the theater that have the cross-hatch pattern. The DDA provided for 2 escrows for sale of the parcels. The first escrow was for sale of the agency residential parcels, again, the ones in red here. And that escrow was completed last year, and the developer has or is constructing all of the improvements that were specified in the development agreement. And those consisted of 10 residential buildings containing 200 apartments, plus a clubhouse and a swimming pool. The second escrow is for closing the sale of the 2 agency mixed-use parcels, again, the 2 in front of the theater. And so what the amendment calls for is extending the deadlines for closing the second escrow and commencing construction on these parcels. The closing deadline would be extended from December 31st of this year through June 30th of 2017, and the deadline for the developer to begin construction would be extended from December 31st, 2016 to July 14th, 2017. So essentially, it's a 6-month extension and then a couple of weeks extra beyond closing date for start of construction. Per the terms of the development agreement, the developer is to purchase these parcels as sites for mixed-use buildings that would have ground floor retail restaurant uses and then a row of, or a floor of apartments above that. So the idea was here that at the mouth of the theater, by the fountain, these were logical places for ground floor restaurant, that would be complementary to the use of the theater. And then again, there's these other parcels along to the south on either side of the plaza, and the idea was to have retail restaurant uses, basically all the way from the theater to Victorian Avenue on either side of the plaza. The reason staff and the developer are requesting the extension of these deadlines is that the theater, which was operated by Cinemark until September 29th of this year, has of course closed, and we can't tell you at this juncture whether, and if so when, that theater may resume operations, or when some other use might be identified for that property. Those restaurant retail uses, it was always envisioned would require, in order to be successful, a complementary use in the theater building, whether it's a theater or something else, something that would drive traffic to these retail restaurant uses. And so, understandably, Mr. Witt does not want to proceed with constructing the mixed-use buildings until the future of that property is better understood. So the proposed extensions would be intended to give the city and agency additional time to try to working with Saifi Enterprises to determine what the future of that property is, and then it would also grant Mr. Witt additional time to decide if he wants to proceed with construction of those 2 buildings. So Staff is recommending approval of amendment number 1 to the Fountain House DDA, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best to address them. It does not have anything to do with bridges. The bridges parcels are to the east of these. It's the one in front of the parking structure and the one here. And just so you know, so just in case you're not aware, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
No, you're not used to just answering yes or no to us up here, but that's good for me.
thank you.
Mr. Lawson?
So it's just the two mixed use are,
These two parcels right here, yeah. just
so
the-
my other question is, the theater has an option on the parking garage until December of 17?
They don't have a Councilman Lawson, they don't have an option per se. They have, the council approved that parking agreement with Bayou Free Enterprises. It basically commits the city to provide free parking for the theater, for a theater specifically. And that agreement would lapse on December 31st of 2017 if the theater has not been reestablished.
So with that in mind, my question is, wouldn't it make more sense to extend this until December 31st of 17?
It could. I mean, I think it's certainly an option. You know, frankly, what we were contemplating was that we would provide a 6-month extension, see if we understand where things are, you know, 4 or 5 months from now. If necessary, we would bring you another extension, but certainly if there was a preference.
I mean, I don't see any reason, I don't think 6 months is going to help us determine what's going to happen. So personally, I would say let's run it concurrent with the parking lot agreement. And if he wants to start sooner, great. If he needs to come back next December, then we'll look at it then. But I don't think 6 months is really accomplishing anything for him or us.
You know, to me, it doesn't really matter. I'm just interested in, I think we need a monthly update or quarterly update or something. 6 months, 12 months, to me, doesn't make that, I don't care. I just want something so we can keep the heat on them to let us know what's going on. So if we need to do something in the interim, we can act upon it or whatever. Ms. Bybee?
I guess I'm really just echoing what Councilman Lawson said. My initial question when I looked at this is 6 months is hardly anything, especially since the theater is, and that property is in limbo right now. So for 6 months for me just didn't seem like enough time, and my question to you, I guess, and on to Jay, was is that enough time, or do we need to, and I agree with Councilman Lawson, it would make sense to go to December with the option of starting building before that, but 6 month window with so much doubt on the movie theater property, I think, and we could come back again, but that was just my thought, that it was not enough time, and I'd like to allow them more if needed.
You know, I think if I may, I'll just explain the thinking behind the 6 months. If the theater is in fact going to be operational by December 31st of next year, we will know by the end of June, because they would have to be, you know, making plans and, you know, et cetera, proceeding. But having said that, I'm not averse to, you know, if it's the council's pleasure, to making this a 12-month extension versus a 6-month extension.
Only downside, maybe, Armando, is if something doesn't happen in 6 months, and we have somebody come out of the blue that has a really great project or something and wants to jump in and buy this, are we restricted for 6 months from selling it?
Yes, well,
Not
if you...
that that's going to happen, and not that Mr. Witt has not done a very, very good job, because I think he has. But having said that, if somebody comes in July and says, you know what, here's all the money, I'm going to do this, I'll buy the property, let's get it done.
That would be what you would be
Downside.
forsaking, that option.
That's true.
Okay, any more questions? Looking for a motion, I guess, then. Mr. Abbott.
I move to approve number 1 to the disposition and development agreement with SWD Corey FDS LLC.
Do you have a second?
Second?
We have a motion by Mr. Abbott, seconded by Ms. Bybee, to approve the 9.1 as outlined by staff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously.
And
Okay.
that was for 6 months? Okay.
Thanks, Armando, I appreciate it. All right, fight fans, here we go.
Yep.
9.2, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of changes to the city's boards and commissions appointments from the following pool of candidates listed in alphabetical order: Abbott, Bybee, Dare, Lawson, Martini, Smith, for possible action. Go ahead, Mr. Driscoll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve Driscoll, City Manager for the record. This is kind of time and place that we do every 2 years after the election process to kind of true up and adjust our membership to our boards and commissions for the elected members of the City of Sparks. So what you're going to have in front of you is there's a matrix that will be up on the board. You did receive a paper copy as well that shows the current assignments for all the incumbents that are on the council, and with two new members on the council. Wards 1 and 5's assignments were cleared and put into a parking lot. The normal process that you've used in the past is for us to look with the incumbents and to decide if there are any other boards or commissions that you no longer want to participate on, and then that would therefore move those to the parking lot for discussion. Once we have everything in the parking lot, then it's you basically talk amongst yourselves under the direction of the mayor, and we just go through the list in alphabetical order, and we move those until hopefully everything that's in the parking lot is now assigned to one of the elected officials, one of the 6 elected officials. You will be assisted by your staff. Cindy will actually be working on the computer up on the board to keep track of the matrix as you have your discussions and you finalize things. She will move those from the parking lot to the matrix inside one of the 6 elected positions. Also, your clerk has a binder that has as much information as we have on the different boards and commissions. So hopefully if there's a particular question that maybe someone's not able to answer as a current incumbent, hopefully you'll have that research. And so the idea here was so that you'll talk amongst yourselves, you'll come to some conclusion. The agenda item itself is designed to where that if in fact you wanted to nominate and vote on every single position, you could do so. We've never done that in the past. There's not been a need to do. What we normally do is come to kind of verbal consensus, you talking amongst yourselves, and then once we get to the end of the day with everything having a home, normally there is a single motion, second, and a single vote, and when that happens, we save that document that memorializes what it is that the mayor and council want to do for boards and commissions for the next cycle. So we'll go as quickly or as slowly as you would like to go, but this is one of the few times, if you will, that the discussion is yours. The decisions, of course, are always yours, and then we'll just do the best we can to keep up. So the only thing that would slow us down is if, for processing purposes, we need to slow down just to move some things. Cindy will let you know, and we'll go from there. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to return to the dais, and I'll turn over the discussion to you.
All right, kids, here we go. We'll start with my stuff. Commissions, you let me know when you're ready there, Miss Cindy. And I'll tell you what I'd like to park. Well, maybe some, I'd like to park, but I can't do that. Ready?
Ready.
Debt Management Commission, please. Regional Transportation Commission, alternate number 2. I believe now that's the policy that the mayor cannot be on the RTC. Is that correct?
We're trying to get that changed.
Okay. So we do. Reno Sparks Joint Sewer Coordinating Committee. Sewer Appeals. How are we doing, dear? All right? So let me know, you okay for next one? Tourism and Market, Tourism Facilities and Revitalization Steering Committee. And I believe that's the name of that too, for me. Mr. Smith, or Mr., well, you go down the list. Mr. What, say again?
So
Mr. Smith,
you
okay,
want
go ahead.
the ones I'm willing to give up? Okay, Debt Management Commission, alternate. Regional Planning Governing Board, alternate. Western Nevada Development District, alternate. 1, 2. Get them?
You had 3 of them, right?
What's that?
You had 3?
That I gave up, yeah.
Is that it, Ron?
Yeah, that's it, I'm sorry.
Mr. Lawson?
Okay, I want to give up EDON Board of Directors, Truckee River Flood Management Authority, alternate, Washoe County Senior Services.
That's it?
Those 3.
Ms. Bybee?
Okay. Are you ready, Cindy? Okay. Parks and Recreation Commission. Redevelopment Agency Vice Chair, because I'll be looking for chair. So I guess I've got to park
I
the
believe
vice
so.
chair.
Yes.
Okay, so park the vice chair. On the RTC alternate, I would do 1 or 2, so I don't know if you want to park that, and then we'd come back to, yeah, we can park that. I would do either, so if you want to park that, and we can discuss that. And then Western Regional Water Commission. That's it.
So let me ask a question. Western Regional Water Commission.
Ed was appointed and then couldn't,
The conflict.
there's a conflict, so you
okay.
gave me that
That's
appointment
what
in
it
the
was, okay.
spring.
I couldn't remember.
So I was filled in for Ed's position
All right.
on
Couldn't remember how that worked. No problem.
whatever date it was supposed to be.
Well, and I might suggest that you keep that Western Regional Water Commission appointed by Tumworth until we get that straightened out.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I don't wanna give
Oh,
that.
you didn't give that up. Okay, I got
I'm
you.
not gonna give that up.
Okay.
Because I don't think that's what I wanna do, but
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, so that's, everybody's got, is in the parking lot right now, right? Okay, so, I guess maybe the best way to do this, Steve, is we wanna go down mine and vote on those that are okay with everybody, that the ones that I want, or do you wanna wait till the end, maybe?
Well, I think that's kind of at the pleasure of the board, if you will.
Would it make more sense if we
let's
voted
just
on
do-
each,
yeah, do
whatever
yours,
we,
you know.
whatever we wanna keep, if everybody's okay with that, let's vote on each person's what they wanna keep, okay? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll go to, what's left of the parking lot, and put those over there, is that okay with you guys? Anything, is there a downside to this, Cheryl, maybe you see, no?
The process is up to the council on this and
Okay.
how you want to handle it.
For, and that's not the way we discussed it, but I think for some reason that makes
That's
more
fine.
sense to me, I don't know why.
It's whatever makes sense with the
Talk me off-
council, we're
Talk me off
happy
the
to do
ledge
that.
if I'm wrong here.
We're good to
Okay.
go. Just give
We
Cindy
shouldn't
a
have any
moment to
argument
catch
on
up.
this.
Yeah, we should not, you're right. Okay, all right, let's do this then. Let's vote on mine. I cannot make a motion, so I would appreciate it if somebody would make a motion for me to keep the legislative team, Nevada League of Cities Board of Directors, which I'm the president of now, Regional Planning Governing Board, Truckee Meadows Water Authority, Truckee River Flood Management Authority, and Western Regional Water Commission. Is that what I have, Cindy? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, if somebody would make that a motion, I'd appreciate it.
I move to approve the aforementioned commissions and boards that the mayor has opted to retain.
Do I have a second? Mr. Lawson?
Second.
Okay, moved by Ms. Bybee, seconded by Mr. Lawson to approve the mayor's appointments. Any further discussion? Are we going to have the voting board up, or can we just use us to vote?
Could do verbal.
Well,
It's up.
it's up there,
Or we
so
could do-
please vote. Sorry. Passes unanimously. Okay, so that one's down. Now we go to Mr. Smith.
Okay, I want to keep Mayor Pro Tem. Regional Transportation Commission, I'll be the chairman of that in January. Sparks Tourism and Marketing Committee, be the chairman of that. Truckee Meadows Water Authority. Truckee River Flood Management Authority, I'm the chairman of that. And Western Regional Water Commission. So there's 6 there.
Okay, any questions? Looking for motion. Mr. Smith?
Move to
Mr.
approve.
Lawson?
Move to approve.
Mr. Dare?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Lawson, seconded by Mr. Dare to approve those wanted by Mr. Smith. Are we okay there, Cindy? Got them all? Are we good or not? Yes.
Good.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, it passed unanimously, I saw it. Okay, great. Next would be Mr. Lawson.
Okay, I want to keep Regional Planning Governing Board, Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority, and Western Nevada Development District, which I am the president of currently. I'm also the vice chair of the RSCBA.
Questions on those? If not, looking for a motion.
Move to approve.
Have a second?
Second?
Moved by Mr. Smith, seconded by Ms. Bybee to approve Mr. Lawson's boards. Are we up to speed there, Cindy?
Yep.
Okay, please vote. Passes unanimously. Ms. Bybee.
Okay, I would like to keep the Capital Funding Protection Committee, the Oversight Committee for School Facilities, and those go together. Those two commissions are the same, different commissions, but those have to stay together. The Regional Planning Governing Board, I'm chair of that. And I guess that's it,
That's it.
because my others I'm coming back to. So just the three.
Okay, questions? Motion. Go ahead, Mr. Dare.
I move to approve.
Second.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Dare, seconded by Mr. Lawson to approve Ms. Bybee's boards. Are we okay, Cindy?
Okay, thank you.
Please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay. So now we're off to the parking lot. Guess we can start one by one at the top. Tell me where we're at there, Ms. Cindy.
Capital Funding Protection Committee is the first one.
That is the one that goes along with the Oversight Committee for School Facilities. Both of
Okay.
those will be assigned together.
Any volunteers for that one? Mr. Dare, Mr. Abbott.
Which one you want to speak?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
With my background of
Or anyone
15
else?
years with private education, I would like to be a part of this. I think I can bring something to the table. I work with budgets, and part of my role is not only projection, but also construction. All the
Great.
stuff we've done on Berry would make sense, I think.
Agreed. So we want to enter that into Mr. Dare's parking lot, or whatever you want to call it, boards. And that would be oversight and capital funding, right, Sharon?
Yeah, those are both together. Now, are we doing these, so as we do this, do we just move them over and then make a final approval?
Yeah.
Is that how we're going to do
Yeah.
that?
So we
Okay.
have two on that board, do we not?
Yeah, two.
Yeah, two people.
Julia was the other member.
Yeah, yeah. So there's two people on that, so tell me what's next there, dear.
Debt Management Commission?
Debt Management Commission, okay, that was mine. Let me just explain debt management. That's one, all three entities are involved in that, plus the GID at Incline Village. It only meets quarterly, about to have one meeting for sure per year. Anytime there's some debt that's going to be created by one of the entities, that like a bond or something like that, has to go through that committee to make sure there's bonding, that entity has the bonding capacity to let those bonds, and it has to be approved by that committee. They also have to check to make sure it's not going to affect our cap of property tax or any of those kind of things. And other than that, it hasn't been very active lately, so it's not going to take a lot of time, I guess is what I want to say.
Do you want to know what days it meets on, Gino? Just
It meets on the second or third Friday of the month at 11 o'clock of the quarter, of the March, whatever the quarter meeting is, March and from there. So it's 4 times a year on a Friday at 11 o'clock. Hasn't been very active lately, again, because nobody's been really buying bonds and things. Down the road, as things get moving, it could be a very active and a very important committee for someone to sit on. I've been on there about 10 years, really haven't had many things to vote on or that have really affected anything that would affect any of the entities. So there's where it lies. I think it's a good chance for somebody to get to know the other people and other entities that are working on those kind of committees, because there's somebody from every entity. I think it's important for all of us to be on a committee that has to do with all three entities or with Incline Village or the school board. So there it is, anybody that wants to jump in. It's not a big commitment.
I'll take it if
Okay, sure. I think that'd be good learning for you there, Donald, I really do.
And that's for the, not the alternate, for yours, right?
Yeah, that's for the member that will be sitting on that committee. So the next meeting they have, you will be, they will let you know what it is, and you will be sworn in. That's what you have to be sworn in on. So, okay. What's next?
Debt Management Commission alternate.
Okay, pretty well figured that one out. Anybody want to be the alternate? Less commitment than...
I've been on that for 10 years and I've never been to a meeting, so.
So anybody want to jump in?
I don't mind. If nobody else wants to, I'll hang out with them every once in a while.
Okay, good, that's good, okay. What's next there, Cindy?
EDON Board of Directors.
There we go, EDON, Board of Directors, Ed's leaving.
Yep, they meet third Thursday of each month at 7:30 in the morning till 9. And good board to be on for economic development. I'm trying to shift my focus more to the tourism and marketing side of it so we can get some more money for the city of Sparks. But great board to be on, the leaders of the community and all business owners.
I would be interested in EDON. I like working with Mike and his team and kind of I think it's an really important board for Sparks to have, good strong representation on that, and like that group, like what they're doing. So I am interested. And on any of these, if we have like more than one of us, do we just park our names on it and then we come to a vote later?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was just me.
Okay, anyone else interested in EDON?
I would be, but being that I'm in the junior councilman, I actually have no problem. I mean, this is what she'd like to, I don't know if there's an alternate or any of those kind of things.
Is there
There's nothing like that. So,
No, but you're welcome to go to any board meeting.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're not to the board meetings, but to any event that EDON has. They invite that, and Cindy makes our reservations for us.
okay.
So when you didn't attend meetings, did you just,
Well, we had Steve there.
okay. Oh, because Steve's on the board.
So one statement. If you're interested in it, throw your name in. If you're not that interested, say so. We have one person that wants it, another one that may want it. There's discussion after this to have it, so
Okay.
it's up for grabs. I'm not trying to say anybody's better than the other one, but Mr. Driscoll, go ahead.
Just some clarification. I do sit on the executive board of EDON as well as the board. I represent Sparks, Reno, and Washoe County, the governmental pieces of it. In addition, obviously, we have conversations with you as electeds with things that go on from that standpoint. So I am there in a dual capacity to strengthen what Sparks does as a representative, both at the smaller board and the larger.
Okay. So we got 2 in for that or 1?
2.
Okay. You have those down, Dare and Bybee. Okay, what's next?
Information Technology Steering Committee.
Information Technology Steering Committee?
Yes, sir.
Anyone?
Is there any info on it?
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead, Steve.
This was something that was done well before the recession and before after coming out of the recession, that the council developed the refresh program. We've not met for 5 or 6 years because there's actually no need now. We deal with this during the budget process, and so it is one that I could suggest could be abolished by the council, and we just deal with this during the capital improvement program portion of the budget discussion.
Done. Done and done. Next.
I'll make a motion to abolish it.
Second? There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Moving on.
Zeno got elected king.
Hey,
It's his new commission.
you asked me to do away with it. We'll do away with it. Done deal. Go ahead.
Legislative team.
Okay.
That's one that I want to be on.
Okay. I think that's a good choice. Mr. Lawson will make. Anybody else? Okay, that is Mr. Lawson's. And then we'll have to reload our list, but that's okay. Next,
Parks and Rec Commission.
Parks and Rec wants to be in Parks and Rec. Good commission, it's stuff we need. Donald?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, done and done. Next,
Redevelopment Agency Chair.
Ms. Bybee?
Oh, that would be me.
Hey, wake up.
I'm writing over here to add.
Anyone else want to be,
Yeah, having vice chair this year, or the last 2 years, I'd like to move into that chairman position.
vice chair? Anyone else have any chair?
Chair.
Yes, chair.
Chairman.
Okay. Anyone else? No. Next,
Okay, Redevelopment Agency Vice Chair.
okay, vice chair.
I would be interested, when I work with 39 North, there's a group down there that we are there. My only question, I know it's Ward 1, a lot of that, so we all work together. I know trying to make sure the city's great. I do believe that having a strong downtown makes our city safe and wonderful, and it's so important. So I'd be very interested in it.
Okay, Mr. Dare, anyone else? And it's not necessarily that it has to be the Ward 1 person. It has to do with your expertise and what you want to do, what you've done in the past, or anything else. Anyone else want to be vice
Can
chair?
we go down to a vote on it?
Sure. You want to jump in on it?
Yeah, no offense at all, just.
No, that's not what it's about.
You're causing trouble.
I know already, second day.
This is not a personal deal, okay? Just remember that, it's not personal, it's what you'd like to represent the city, and there's nothing wrong with that. Except you can't be mayor, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, thank you. Today.
2 years.
Who else? Next, we got those? Okay.
Regional Planning Governing Board Alternate.
Regional Planning Governing Board alternate?
I was that, I'll take it again if nobody else, if they don't want it. If somebody else wants it, grab it.
Let me say something about Regional Planning Governing Board. I've been on the Regional Planning Governing Board since 1999. If I had my druthers, I would just get off of it, but I don't want to this year because we need some, what do I want to say? Not expertise, we want to have some.
Story.
There you go, yeah. History from Sparks, we're going to need some representation from Sparks, from people that know what's going on there, like Charlene and Ed and maybe even me sometimes. So I want to stay on that for a year until the legislature's over, until we get through the bumps that we might be going through. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything, but it's just something I would like to do until that's over. And then I would like to turn it over at the end of the year to the alternate maybe, or somebody else that would be interested, because I think it would be good to have a year's experience on regional planning before you have to jump in. So just my thoughts. Anybody want to be on regional planning? I said I would. Okay.
Done deal.
Okay.
Is it bad to suggest somebody? I just know Donald's history. He actually knows the area quite well.
I'll do it.
And-
Take my name off. Put Donald.
That's what I was hoping would happen with you.
Oh, sorry, didn't you tell me what to do?
I'm like, there's a dagger in you, bro.
We can't tell you what to do, we can just make suggestions.
Yeah.
Pay attention, would you? You gotta pick this stuff up.
This is why I'm
real quick.
single.
And will remain single for a while, probably. So, okay, thank you, Donald, good job. Next,
Regional Transportation Commission Alternate Number 1.
anyone?
I'm interested.
Okay, anyone else? Done? Next? Number 2.
Regional Transportation Commission Alternate Number 2.
I'd be interested in being the second alternate.
Anyone else? Done? Next?
Reno Sparks Joint Sewer Coordinating Committee Alternate.
How about on the committee itself? I think I gave that up.
Oh, correct.
Let's do the member first. Okay, here's one again I've been on for many, many years. Don't usually attend the meetings because my philosophy is that thing runs so well and that committee runs so well, I don't want to get a politician involved in it. Having said that, somebody else might want to go to that. It's it's a great committee to be on. You'll know exactly what's going on with our water reclamation facility all the time. It's It's a very, very important committee. If I didn't have so much faith in our engineers and city managers, they would take care of what goes on there. I do keep track of what's going on. I usually give my vote to somebody else as a proxy. And we've always done a good job at the sewer plant or water reclamation facility. So, having said that, if you want to get on that, it's a great committee to be on. If you want to attend the meetings, which you probably should, unless you want to get in the way of things, then don't go. Let the staff do what they do best, the experts. So that's my spiel. If somebody wants to be on, it's a great committee to be on. You'll keep up to date with what's going on with our sewer facility.
I'll take it.
Anyone else? There's no trying, you will. Anyone else? Okay, good. Thanks, Donald. I think you'll appreciate that a lot, really.
I got that hint that time.
Next.
Reno Sparks Joint Sewer Coordinating Committee alternate.
Okay. Alternate to what Donald would do, just in case you can't make the meetings. Just throw me on there again. I guess it's no problem.
So Christopher raised his hand.
I don't mind.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine. Put Christopher, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Just trying to expedite.
Sewer Appeals Committee.
Sewer appeals, this is a very easy thing to do these days. It used to be a meeting once a month, and you'd have people come in and crying about their sewer, and we can't shut their sewer, but we're got them in collection and all that kind of stuff. But now it's done by email. It's very easy to do. Keeps you up to track, gives you an idea of how people in our community might be suffering through the economic times with problems and paying bills and things. It was kind of a wake-up call for me when I got on this committee. Again, been on it for over 10 years probably. It's not a lot of work now. It's a lot of hard work maybe. You get to give some people that are really having a tough time, you get to maybe get rid of some penalties. You can't get rid of the fees. The fees they have to pay, but we can get rid of their fees, their penalties and things for them, and it's kind of a feel-good kind of thing once in a while. So that's the other thing. We've got it so streamlined now that most people don't need to come to the meeting to plead their case. We talk to them before they even get there, and it's done by email. But it's a pretty good process, pretty simple to do. And I think sooner or later we're working on that to go to an administrative kind of a process where the sewer committee will go away anyway. So it might be a part-time thing for a while, and then it'll be gone. So anybody interested? Go ahead. Okay, Don. Anyone else? Okay, finally got off the sewer. It was a bunch of rats. Yeah. Next.
Sparks Tourism and Marketing Committee.
Sparks Tourism and Marketing, that's Tour Mark.
Yep.
That's one I want to be on,
Okay. Anyone else?
complementing the RSCBA.
Agreed. Anyone else? Okay. Next.
Okay, Tourism Facilities and Revitalization Steering Committee.
Armando, I don't know how many times more that's going to have to meet coming up.
It'll meet periodically.
Okay. Just a periodical thing, and what they have to do is they have to make a recommendation or a plan about downtown plans to use the money we get from the RSCBA. Is that correct? Kind of?
Correct.
Doesn't meet very often. It's two people from the city, somebody from RSCBA, somebody from a casino in Reno, one from Sparks. So that's about 5 people on the committee, okay? I want to say it's semi-important when it has to meet because they make recommendations to the city council on how we would like to spend that money we get from RSCBA in the downtown area. And it's recommendation only, but it's important to give us recommendation.
There's 2 positions, correct?
I'd
There
like
is
to be
two
one of those
positions.
positions, you know?
Okay?
I'd be
I
interested.
think that goes hand in hand too with the RSCBA stuff.
Probably pretty well does in Charlotte.
Yeah, I'd be interested because it ties in with redevelopment.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. I think we're doing good here, getting similar things together that we maybe never had before. That's
what I'm kind of
I kind of
impressed
like
with.
that, so.
Yeah.
What's next there?
Truckee Meadows Water Authority, alternate.
Alternate, okay. Anyone? Let's say maybe lead into the door, very, very important commission.
I'm interested.
Coming up in the years, and I'll be gone 2 years, so. Christopher,
I'm
anyone else?
interested.
Okay.
My only concern is there's a lot of these, they're all alternates, so, not all, but a few alternates, so he's not all the time, he's regular schedule. But if it's alternates, then it's not a big deal.
Right.
And usually if we're not gonna make a meeting on any one of these committees, we give you plenty of notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, again, it's kind of good to be involved a little bit and watch what's going on for the future. You might want to be on that committee. I mean, when you're talking about water, it's pretty important stuff, so. All right, Christopher is there. Okay, next.
Truckee River Flood Management Authority, Board of Directors, alternate.
Again, same thing.
Very important.
Very important. I've been on it. Ron's been on it. I've been on it from its inception. Ron's been on it for quite a while. He's the chairman. I would, again, probably like to stay on that another year to see what happens and then maybe turn it over to somebody to get a year's experience for the flood. Again, that's a super important thing. And if you look,
I'm interested.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So we got those two, Donald and Christopher. Again, this is coming down to the point where Sparks really, if you look around, Sparks is the only one that's really done a whole lot of work and done something in the ground for the flood project, so, which is kind of sad that it's that way, but that's the way it is in the big city. Next, what's next there?
Washoe County District Board of Health.
I'm interested.
Okay, again, this one's pretty important. Steve, Mr. Driscoll, give us, we've got a lot of stuff going on there. Julia Ratty has done a terrific job representing us, and we need strong representation there.
We definitely need strong representation. This one, for a while, will require some study because you're going to need to get up to speed on the technical and medical issues involved with the health department, EMS services, and other things. You have a very capable complementary person that you've appointed in Dr. Novak, medical doctor, emergency room doctor, so that helps provide some of the technical on top of working with the medical officer. We have been a leader on this particular organization for a while. Sometimes the hard decisions need someone that's willing to step up, and with Dr. Novak and our previous members, we've actually been leading. Your fire department provides a lot of background and backup for the EMS component. I also am on the EMS Oversight Committee board as your representative through the interlocal agreement, so there's quite a bit of support, quite a bit of ability to get up to speed. It is something that we need someone who's willing to be committed to it and understand it and be willing to be strong on it, on things that they may be less than 100% comfortable with, but we'll do the best to make you as comfortable as we can until you're feeling up to speed. So we could use some help on this one.
Someone to stick their nose in there and fight, so. Okay, Christopher? Anyone else? Okay.
Good.
Next, Miss Cindy?
Washoe County Senior Services Board of Trustees.
Okay.
This one's one I've given up. It's an advisory board, so the only good news is you get to meet the seniors and hear their issues, and that is, they call it the silver tsunami. With all the baby boomers retiring, they are actually affecting our planning for the next 20 years. So if you're new, I would suggest you be on this because you'll learn a lot in a short period of time.
And they're trying to put together a senior citizens advisory committee. So you would have a lot to do with that.
Yeah, for Sparks.
Anyone? Don't forget, I'm gonna be a senior here pretty quick, so.
Donald.
That ship already sailed.
It did, a long time ago, so.
Yeah.
Donald's raising his hand over here.
Good.
I think there's 3 of us that are seniors at this table.
Well, I'm a senior. Excuse me.
4.
All right, Donald, anyone else? Good, I think you'll fit in very well there, Donald, really indeed. What's next, Cindy?
Western Nevada.
District alternate.
So this is the 9 counties of Northern Nevada. We're all together. I'm the president of that. We just need an alternate for it. Christopher, you serve as the citizen liaison right now.
Which
for
I have to come
Sparks.
off.
Correct. So
Should I just watch over and hang out, or is this something somebody else wants to do? I don't mind hanging.
I was the alternate here, and ever since Ed's been the president of that, I've never had to go. He always goes to the meetings, so But you're familiar with it, I think it'd be a good fit.
I think it's good to stay on it, Christopher, if you
Yeah.
would stay on it.
Yeah.
I would appreciate if you would,
Can't hurt.
since you know what's going on.
Can he stay on as a citizen or no? You got,
No, he
No.
can't be, now
but you
he's
can
elected.
use the alternate.
But
That'd be good.
we can
He can
appoint
be
a
our
new one, right?
alternate,
We
and
can
then we
appoint a
can
new one.
appoint, we need to appoint a citizen representative from Sparks.
Good, yeah, that's good. That's a good deal.
Yeah, since you know what's going on, that'd be good.
Next.
I'm sorry,
Don't be sorry.
who took Western Nevada Development
Krista.
District? Western Regional Water Commission,
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Western Regional Water Commission,
And that one is from who?
appointed by Sparks.
Oh, okay.
That
all
was
right.
me, that was Ed's,
All right.
that became mine, and I was putting in. the
Western
parking lot.
Regional Water Commission, again, it's all about water. It's important, yes. My feelings is it's run its course because the legislature put it into effect to make the consolidation of Washoe County Water and Tumwa happen. It's happened, it's a done deal. I was in favor of getting rid of this committee because it might be a small duplication, but there's other people and other entities that don't think that's the truth. So we need somebody to be on there to protect our interests in the region. Who's on there? Ron is on there.
I'm on there.
In theory, I was on there, but I'm in limbo right now, so we need another representative.
Let me see, who's got the flood project all?
With water, yeah.
Donald? Okay, sure, that's good. That's good. It'll get you again up to speed on water and stuff, which it's always good to know about what's going on with our water.
The old whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting.
Water and
Exactly,
sewers,
fist
it's like
fight.
right there.
So where else, Cindy? Where else?
Well,
Done?
we're done?
You know what, I have a question.
Okay, question, go ahead.
To the city manager. Don't we have a new commission through Washoe County Animal Services that is one of our boards and commissions we're supposed to appoint
Yes,
someone to?
it's coming up, so we need to consider that one. It needs to be an elected official.
Now or when it comes out, when's it coming?
Mr. Kreutz,
Kreutz.
please.
Yeah, I thought they kind of had a, is it
You're gonna
still
be,
a little-
whoever gets this is gonna be leading the charge for feral cats, I think, or.
For the record, Neil Kreutz, Assistant City Manager. The Regional Animal Services Advisory Committee will be established late winter, early spring, so, early 17. So we've got a few months. You could certainly, I think, if you want to, decide it today, but I don't think there's any rush. The county is going through their exotic animal code at this point in time, and they are struggling to come up with what they want to do, so it's kind of pushed their schedule back. So we've got time if we want to take it.
Why don't we wait till it comes up so whoever gets it can see the whole job title and duties and all that stuff when it meets and everything, so we don't want to jump into something you don't know what you might
Okay.
have time to do,
Okay,
so.
I just asked because it's something I was
Yeah. Okay.
concerned about and interested in, but I can wait until we get the final language and we can make a decision
Okay.
then, so. I'm fine
So
with that.
we've got this done, right, Cindy? So why don't we do this now? Why don't you go over each one's jobs, starting with mine, and then
We still got some more on the side.
The
we
ones
do?
to vote on.
Yeah,
Those are the
and I
voting.
suggest that
Oh, I forgot about that.
Chris and Donald look at those two committees they're both looking at
I
and maybe
forgot about that.
negotiate on this thing.
Okay. What do we got left? I'm sorry.
EDON Board of Directors between Charlene Bybee and Christopher Dare.
Okay, give us your spiel there, I guess. And then we'll, I don't know how else to do it but vote, right? Draw cards? What do you want to do?
I think a vote would probably.
No, I'd like to draw cards, but voting's probably more,
You need a motion and a second, and then go from there.
yeah, well,
Is that
why
how
don't
you
you
see
let
that?
them just say a quick word about why they think they should be on there? Charlie?
I'm interested in what EDON is doing. I think it ties into a lot of the other things I'm doing, from regional planning to redevelopment downtown. I work well with Mike and with his staff, and kind of the whole economic development piece that ties into even the airport and the commission I sit on with the airport, and my knowledge with travel and the travel industry and how that affects tourism and redevelopment, I think are all important things to work together, so
Okay,
I'd be
Christopher?
interested.
I actually think looking at what I have, especially with the health one that's gonna be large, I think I'll just pull my name off. And I think Charlotte will do a great job. I actually am very interested, so I will be at the meetings and please.
Okay.
And then even in 2 years, maybe you don't wanna be on there and
Okay.
maybe at that point.
Good.
But I'm comfortable with that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
See how that works?
I just.
Works pretty well.
I got it.
Okay, that goes to Christopher.
No,
What do
that
we-
goes to
Charlene.
Charlene.
Charlene, lost my head. So what's next?
That's what I said, why doesn't Chris and Donald have a talk? They both have their names on both committees, and maybe one will say, could I have this one, do you have the other one? Or-
Okay, what's the first one there?
Redevelopment Agency Vice Chair between Donald
Abbott and Christopher Dale.
And what's the other one?
Truckee River Flood Management Authority Board of Directors, alternate, again between Donald Abbott and Christopher.
Okay. What's the thought process here, gentlemen?
Done deal?
Deal. How's that, Cheryl?
I think that'll work.
Okay. So now we've got these all parked in their own garages, right? So in theory, yeah, I'm just talking while you're doing
That
that.
one's a remove.
So in theory, if we go down each one and ask the person if that's what they want, they can say yes, and at the end of all this, we can have one vote on all 6 of those. There's 5 of those, 6 of those. Is that okay, or do you want to have one on each person?
I think it's at your discretion. It might be cleaner with one on each.
Yeah, you're right. It would be cleaner. Okay. Tell me when you're ready to go there, dear.
Okay, just read off the list
Yeah.
for each person. You already voted on yours, so I'll move to Donald Abbott.
Yeah, that's fine.
Seconded. Debt Management Commission, Parks and Rec Commission, Regional Planning Governing Board alternate, Reno Sparks Joint Sewer Committee Coordinating Committee, Sewer Appeals Committee, Washoe County Senior Services Board of Trustees, Western Regional Water Commission, appointed by Sparks, Truckee River Flood Management Authority Board of Directors alternate.
Good with that, Donald?
Sir.
Okay, looking for a motion?
Move to approve?
Have a second?
Second.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Lawson, seconded by Ms. Bybee in the first to approve Mr. Abbott's commission. Any further discussion? Please vote. Please vote again.
I'm
Passes
trying.
unanimously.
Come on, vote, come on.
Okay, next, Mr. Lawson.
Okay, legislative team, Sparks Tourism and Marketing Committee, Tourism Facilities and Revitalization Steering Committee.
Okay, Ed?
Yep.
Looking for motion?
Move to approve.
For a second?
Second.
Moved by Smith, seconded by Bybee to approve Mr. Lawson's boards and commissions. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Mr. Smith.
Has it been voted on, so I'll move to Charlene.
Was there any changes in
Did
his,
you add one?
No, I didn't add
They're all
anything.
you add
highlighted, so that means we
Perfect.
voted on.
Yeah.
They've been voted on. Okay, fine, no problem. Ms. Bybee.
Okay, Capital Funding Protection Committee, Oversight Committee for School Facilities, Regional Planning Governing Board, Redevelopment Agency Chair, Regional Transportation Commission Alternate 2, Tourism Facilities and Revitalization Steering Committee, and EDON Board of Directors.
Move to approve.
Second?
Moved by Smith, seconded by Lawson to approve Ms. Bybee's commission. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes, I believe, unanimously. Okay, next, Mr. Derrick.
Capital Funding Protection Committee, Oversight Committee for School Facilities, Debt Management Commission, alternate, Regional Transportation Commission, alternate 1, Reno Sparks Joint Sewer Coordinating Committee, alternate, Truckee Meadows Water Authority, alternate, Washoe County District Board of Health, Western Nevada Development District, alternate, and Redevelopment Agency, vice chair.
You good there, Kristen? Move for motion? Second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Smith, seconded by Ms. Bybee to approve Mr. Bear's wills. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. We good, Mr. Driscoll?
Mayor, we're done with that item.
You know, Cindy, that was awesome. This is the best it's ever been with these boards and commissions, and thank you all for giving and taking, and, you know, we got a lot of work to do coming up. I appreciate everybody stepping up and doing what they need to do. It's gonna be, legislature is coming up, it's gonna be a tough session. We're gonna need to put our heads together and make sure we get things done we need to. Mr. Driscoll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the council and mayor, as you know, in our monthly PMI, schedules, one of the things that we do is we list these boards and commissions on the final page of that report. One of the things that we'll be looking for is we will look at our records between now and the January meeting, since we're going to cancel our December PMIs for the holiday, and we'll do the best we can to note where the meetings reside as days of months to what we have, and then we'll work with you to get that solidified so we just have a little better record in our book, because there's some that have just changed, others that are called the chair, so they don't really have a specific date, but we'll just do that to try to keep shoring this up for you. This process a couple of cycles ago was nowhere close to as organized as it is, and the two people in front of you have spent a lot of time and a lot of effort getting the big book together and organizing it so that they can provide you the best service as possible. So I want to thank them publicly for the hard work they've done. I want to thank the council for this just really kind of helping to streamline this process. I thought it went very well. Thank you.
You know, I just want to say one more thing. I'm so proud of this council. I cannot believe it. I'm proud of the council we just got through with. We had 2 people are gone. We had 2 new ones who, you both stepped up to the plate. I love to see that. Give and take, we're a group that's going to work well together. And if we stick together, even though we have some disagreements, let me tell you, we'll be very powerful in this region for a long, long time. I'm old, getting ready to go. You guys are young, getting ready to take over. So I am just so darn proud of this whole council, this whole organization, the managers, the city staff. It's no wonder they don't put us in the paper for doing bad stuff. We're just good. So, Mr. Lawson.
Something that was pointed out by Councilman Smith today is we have the 3 oldest serving elected officials.
Longest serving, not oldest.
Yeah.
Longest and oldest.
Yeah.
In the county.
Serving in the whole county. Out of 17 elected local officials, Gino is the longest serving, Ron Smith is the second, and I'm actually number 3.
On the same board.
Really? Yeah.
On the same, and at
Yeah.
the local level, period.
Mr. Mayor's been on the board for a long time.
Yeah, but he'd been on a different board. So, and serving for the same entity, we have the 3 oldest. So we got some strong leadership, some big shoes that we need to keep filling, and we're expecting big things out of our new council members.
Absolutely. Just keep charging forward, getting things done, making decisions, not asking for 17 studies we don't need. Just keep moving forward and approving things, helping staff, listen to staff. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. And all we got to do is listen and back them up and tell them what we think. And, we're going to be fine. I'm just proud. Thank you so much. Public, nothing. Planning, zoning, nothing. Comments from the public? Anyone? Comments from the public? Comments from the city council and or the city manager?
A good one.
Mr. Smith?
Update from Adam this week, Pyramid McCarran. If you're traveling through that intersection this week, expect 30-minute delays. So that's important. Don't get mad. Try to find another route.
Just get even.
Christmas tree lighting this Friday night at 6:30. It's going to actually be lit.
Starts
Festivities start before that.
6 o'clock.
That's the lighting? What time does the
6:30-ish.
festivities start?
The lighting's at 6:30.
Okay, good. All right.
The tree lighting's 6:30 to 7.
And we're there 5:30.
The lighting's at 7, so festivities.
Okay. And then the parade is Saturday, and that's 1 o'clock. Okay.
Lights at 7 or 6:30? Okay, good. Parade, 1 o'clock. We have to be down there. Is there going to be rides, please, from City Hall to the float?
Itinerary should be coming to you today.
Got it, I think, from
We
Adam?
got it, yeah. We got it.
Okay, good. Anything else? Go ahead, Christopher.
On the 9th and 10th of December, also 39 North downtown North Pole is going to be happening. And so they're still putting things together. Even today, we just got a nice donation from Western Village that stepped in and supporting it as well. And so we're just excited that what's happening down there. If you don't know what it is, they're actually trying to create a whole village area that's a bunch of lights and a bunch of businesses coming together. They're even having a lot of the floats that are from the parade. They're going to come and actually join it, so it kind of even adds to the festivities. And instead of it being over in the parking lot, it's going to be at the plaza. They have a tent filled with a lot of different things you can buy for Christmas shopping and all that stuff. You have kids singing Christmas carols, and Santa will be there on the 9th and 10th. So bring your kids down, and it'll be a great time.
Thank you. Mr. Driscoll?
Mr. Mayor, I have two announcements today. The first is for committee appointments for the Western Nevada Development District, 2 members for 2-year terms. Applications for this will be open until Friday, January 13th of 2017. The second is for the Committee on Airport Noise Advisory Panel, 1 member for 2 years. Applications for this committee will be open until close of business on Friday, December 2nd. For persons that are interested in serving on either of these committees, they should complete a community service application available from the city clerk's office. You may also apply online at the city's website, www.cityofsparks.us. You would click on City Services on the webpage, then you would click on Volunteering, Get Involved, and then click on Fill Out a City of Sparks Volunteer Application. Thank you.
Ms. Bybee?
I just wanted to tell everyone on Saturday, if you want to make it a full day, come down to all the festivities on Victorian Square, watch the parade, and then at 5:30 Saturday night, the Nugget is lighting their Christmas tree. And it's starting to open up, so it looks better. It's kind of, it was all bunched up, and I just drove by, and it's starting to open, and they will have, if you haven't gone online, we just got information a few days ago about the 12 Nuggets at Christmas. So every night for 12 nights, I think it's an amazing thing. I want to acknowledge the Nugget for being a great community partner, because each night they will have, give a $2,000 check to an individual charity, and if you go on and find that information, it's everything from Toys to Tots to Nevada, to the food bank, to a variety of different Humane Society, that you can bring a certain item, either cash or toys, and it'll tell you on that. So an opportunity for everyone to bring family down, hot chocolate, and presentations every night at 5:30. At the 105-foot Christmas tree. So just wanted to thank the Nugget for their community giving during the holiday season, and encourage people to participate and go check it out. I think it's awesome and complements what we're doing, the City of Sparks is doing on Saturday. So hope to see a lot of people there.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no further business, we're adjourned.
I'd like to call to order the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting on this Monday, November 28th, with a roll call.
Chairperson Bybee.
Here.
Agency members Abbott. Here. Lawson.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Martini.
Here.
Vice Chair Dare.
Here.
Assistant Agency Attorney Eiding. Here. Chief Administrative Officer Driscoll.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Public comment. Do I have any cards for public comment? Or anyone who wants to make public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to agenda item 4.1, looking for an approval of today's agenda. Do I have any changes, corrections?
Second.
Not corrections, changes. Move to approve by agency member Lawson, approved by agency member Smith. All those in favor, please vote. We're voting. We got to vote now.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, it's like official.
The mayor has left the building.
Okay. Okay, we have 4 votes in favor. Motion passes. Item number 5.1, minutes. Need a motion to, are there any corrections, additions to the minutes? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Motion to approve by agency member Lawson.
Now, second?
Second by agency member Dare. All those in favor?
Aye.
Please vote.
Still in the favor.
Still, yeah.
Okay, once again, passes 4 with 1 abstention or 1 no vote. Moving to item number 6. Item number 6.1, report of claims and bills for payment.
Move to approve.
For possible action, do we have? Okay, so we don't have a presentation on that? Okay.
Bills and claims.
So seeing no questions, I see a motion on the floor by agency member Lawson. Do I have a second?
It was Smith.
Oh,
Then
Smith.
Lawson second.
Okay, Smith moved, Lawson seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please vote. Okay, motion carries 4-1. Okay. We have item number 6.2, consideration and possible approval of amendment number 1 to the disposition and development agreement SRA 308 between the Red Development Agency, the City of Sparks, and SWD Quarry FVS LLC to extend the deadlines for closing escrow and commencing construction on the agency mixed-use parcels APN 032-341-22 and APN 032-341-23. And I have Armando Ornelas making a presentation. This is a companion to what we just saw before council, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the agency board, this is the companion item to the item heard by the City Council and approved by the City Council. Both the agency and the city are parties, so both it requires the approval of both.
Move to approve.
Okay. I have a motion by agency member Lawson, a second by agency member Smith. Do I have any questions or discussion on this item, or are we good?
I had one
Mr.
question,
Dare?
and it's not, it's about even the property right in front of it, just because I know it's conversation. And part of it's owned by the Nugget, and some of it's owned, and they were talking about mixing things up and changing around. Did anything happen with that, or are we still sitting where the Nugget owns some of it? So,
There, are you talking about these parcels here
Yes.
along the plaza?
yes, I think they're kind of mixed up, right? We own some, they own some? or
No,
something?
actually, pardon me, as a part of the site assembly, the final site assembly we did over here to assemble the site for Fountain House, there was consolidation, and so these two parcels, which are numbers 26 and 12 on the west and 28 and 10 on the east, all four of those parcels are owned by the same entity that owns the Nugget. And then these two parcels are owned by the agency.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion second on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Please vote. Okay, motion passes by 4 votes. Comments from the public. Do I have any comments from the public? Seeing none, move on to 7.2, comments from the agency and Chief Administrative Officer. Any comments? Okay, hearing none, I have a motion to adjourn. Second? Okay, we're adjourned.